In another moment, down went Alice after it, never once considering how in the world she was to get out again. In the next moment, what Alice got to do, she also all of a sudden entered into the hole, and she was considering how in the world she was to get out again. That means along with the rabbit she jumped into the hole, and just as soon as she jumped into the hole she started thinking that how will I come back out of the hole. The rabbit hole went straight on like a tunnel for some way and then dipped suddenly down, so suddenly that Alice had not a moment to think about stopping herself before she found herself falling down a very deep well. So you can see that the hole over here, the rabbit hole over here, is very deep, just like a well. Well means kuwa. So it was very deep and it was looking like a tunnel. Alice was feeling like as if even though she has just fallen into a hole, a rabbit hole, but it seemed like as if it was a tunnel. Okay, it was very deep. Either the well was very deep or she fell very slowly, for she had plenty of time as she went down to look about her and to wonder what was going to happen next. What Alice started thinking at that time? Alice started thinking that either the hole was very deep or the momentum, the speed of Alice falling into the hole was quite slow. How she was able to judge this? Because she was able to think of many of the thoughts. She was having a lot of time to think over some of the things. First, she tried to look down and make out what she was coming to, but it was too dark to see anything. What she tried to look down, she tried to see that where she was going to and where she was coming from, but it was too dark for her to see anything. Then she looked at the sides of the well and noticed that they were filled with cupboards and bookshelves. And all of a sudden what she did, she started having a look to the walls of that well. Okay, and what she observed that there were cupboards and bookshelves as if it was a library. Here and there she saw maps and pictures hung upon pegs. Pegs, a short piece of wood. Okay, so what she noticed, that there were maps and pictures also which were hung upon the wood. She took down a jar from one of the shelves as she passed. It was labelled orange marmalade, but to her great disappointment it was empty. She did not like to drop the jar for fear of killing somebody, so managed to put it into one of the cupboards as she fell past it. So the rabbit hole goes on and on like a vertical tunnel, and as Alice falls, it is as if time slows down. She is able to consider everything around her. The walls of the tunnel were filled with shelves and bookcases, from which she manages to select a jar labelled orange marmalade. But finding it empty, marmalade is a kind of a jelly, you can say. Okay, but finding it empty, tries to put it back as she falls. But what she thinks, that she was not able to keep it back. Instead, वो कहीं गिरा ना दे, किसी को लग ना जाए, she thought of holding it. Well, thought Alice to herself, after such a fall as this, I shall think nothing of trembling downstairs. How brave they'll all think me at home. Why I wouldn't say anything about it even if I fell off the top of the house. So, she muses on what her family would say. Now she started thinking of what family would say to her if they could see her falling in this big hole. She thinks that she must be near the center of the earth by now, and she proceeds to recite facts. Okay, so she started thinking that if my parents, my family would have been seeing this scene that I am going down the tunnel, going down the hole, so I would no more be afraid of coming down the stairs or jumping up from the roof. Okay, so she thought that her parents will be very proud of her. Down, down, down would the fall, never come to an end. I wonder how many miles I have fallen by this time, she said aloud. I must be getting somewhere near the center of the earth. Let me see, that would be 4,000 miles down, I think. For you see, Alice had learned several things of this sort in her lessons in the schoolroom, and though this was not a very good opportunity for showing off her knowledge, as there was no one to listen to her, still it was good practice to say it over. Yes, that's about the right distance, but then I wonder what latitude or longitude I have got to. Alice had no idea what latitude was or longitude either, but thought they were nice, grand words to say. So, she was non-stop getting down, 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 deeper and deeper into that hole. And that she started feeling that there is no end. She has crossed miles and miles under the earth. She thought that she must be now reaching to the center of the earth. Okay. She now started calculating that she must have passed 4,000 of miles inside the earth. With this, we can understand that she's a student. She must have learned all these things in her classes, in her lessons during the classes. Though it is very good that she was trying to recalculate her knowledge, but this was not the correct time to do so. And she also thought of using the heavy words like latitude or longitude. Okay, these kind of ideas started getting stuck on the ideas of latitude and longitude, and proceeds to recite facts she has learned in school about the size of world.